Do you have PPP, plant parent problems? Hi guys, it's me, Plantain Charlene, and today I wanted to talk about something I call PPP, also known as plant parent problems. I'm sure there is some type of problem that any one of us can go through, no matter how skillful you are, no matter how long you've had plants, and no matter how much success. There is some type of plant problem, and I just wanted to go through a few of them. Okay, so if this is your first time on my channel, thank you for watching my video. I hope you would like to comment, subscribe, hit the like, and click the bell to know when a new video is posting. And if you are returning, I appreciate you for coming back to watch another video. So, as I said, PPP, plant parent problems. I recently did a couple of videos regarding having issues with space and lighting that your plants may need, and also I did a video, which I will put them both up here, regarding plants that I failed. I failed many of plants in my time, but that video I think focused on less than 10. Okay, so one of the first things I want to talk about is space. Not having the space, and you know that you still want to buy more plants. You may have to get creative by putting shelves on your wall, or have some type of hanging shelving or hanging planter. Macrames are something that a lot of people are getting into more and more, and they're getting very creative, but that is not always an option for everyone. And then there may be, because there's a lack of wall space or floor space, or maybe you have pets and you can't have the plants on the floor. Maybe you have a small child and you don't want them knocking these things over, because as they're growing, they definitely love to touch, and they may think it's okay to nibble on it. Kids love putting things in their mouths. So you may be limited with the things that you can do as far as your space goes. I myself, as I noted, as you can see behind me, I have some shelving going on. I have track lighting. I have built, well, I haven't built anything. I have purchased different types of shelving systems, whether they hang from the ceiling, hang from the wall, or there's some type of planter that is on the floor that I can use. And I will say that it's been very helpful, and it's allowed me to put plants in spaces that I would be limited on how many could go there if the plant was just sitting in that space on its own. Also, hanging planters are not hard to find as far as purchasing them from the store. A lot of plants come in hanging pots, so therefore you can hang them in front of a window. But maybe the room that you want to put that plant in doesn't have the lighting that you need, or there is no window, such as like a bathroom. I don't have a bathroom with a window. I don't have a bathroom, and I paused. My bathroom doesn't have a window in it, so I have absolutely no plants in there. I put one plant in there, and it was my snake plant, and it failed miserably because the light was not on all the time, and the light that's in there is not strong enough, not even for a snake plant. And though they say it can handle low light conditions, it didn't handle those conditions at all. The humidity was probably perfect, but the light conditions, just the plant lost like 15, 20 leaves in such a short period of time. It was ridiculous. The next thing I want to talk about is lighting. Lighting is a huge thing, because you may have a whole lot of space, but there's no lighting there that is appropriate for a specific kind of plant. As we know, different plants need different lighting needs. Some can be under a tree in full sun, but because of that shade that it receives from the tree, it will handle the light that it receives. But some plants, they want direct sunlight, such as succulents or certain tropical plants. They appreciate that direct sun, and it helps them grow the way they need to grow. Now, again, with lighting, you can have a plant in a space that does not have a lot of lighting, but you probably are going to see that the plant, if it has leaves that are variegated, the variegation is not there. If it's leaves of a certain size, you'll see that they grow a lot smaller. Or if it's a fast growing plant, it will grow much slower, because all of these things come into factor. Light is a necessity. Sorry, I got a phone call. But as I was saying, lighting is very important for your plants. Some plants, if you move it from its spot, such as a fiddle leaf fig, after it's like very happy with that location, it will start to drop its leaves, because now it's like, what happened to that real good light I got in this spot at this right time of day when I really appreciated it. I was absorbing it. It was good for me, and now you moved me. And as I said, for the variegation in the leaves, there are different types of plants that like a certain amount of light on it so that it can give you that variegation that's in its leaf, such as dracenias or snake plants or Hoyas. I'm looking at my different plants here, pothos, philodendrons. Depending on that light that you give it will depend on how much variegation that will come from your leaves. The photosynthesis that it receives from the sun, or if you don't have the light, you can give it artificial light, will help that plant grow the way it naturally would grow. So lighting is very important to our plants. Another plant parent problem, try and say that 3 times fast, that we can go through is pest. Pest can become such a problem in your home, because when you have a lot of plants and they're grouped together, the chances of the other plants being infested are on such a high percentage, it's crazy. And the longer it takes for you to notice that you have those pests, the chances are of it spreading is even higher. So for me, myself, going through the mealybug issue, they infested double-digit plants, number of plants of mine. And it took me a long time to get them gone, because on average, you need to treat that plant for at least 3 to 4 weeks with a spray, which is going to be like kind of part 2 of having pests right now. But just for that, what I'm saying is the pest itself are not necessarily noticeable off the top. So the spreading becomes the biggest problem. You never know if it's from when you bring a plant home, or maybe some soil you use. Whatever it is, the purpose of how the pest came into your home, getting rid of them seems to be the biggest issue. And how you get rid of them is with what? Neem oil spray, or some kind of pesticide spray, dish soap such as Dawn or Dr. Bonner's, whether you use the regular Castile soap or the peppermint. I have both, along with some warm water, the alcohol. It's a process. So the more plants that you have, the more infestation you can have. And the more plants you have, the more checking you have to do, and the more time it takes. So if you have your plants grouped and you find that one of those plants have a problem, you're going to pretty much have to treat all of the plants that were around it, or at least inspect it and watch it over a period of time. And that reminds me of the fact that they say, oh, you should wipe your plants a lot, spray your plants a lot. But if you have 5 or 10 plants, that's no big deal. But if you are a person like most of us plant parents that are making these videos, you have a lot of plants. Like you have a lot. 50 is a lot. 20 is a lot. 20 you may be able to deal with wiping everything down, spraying it, doing this on a weekly basis. But 50 plants, and you have them indoors only, that's a harder issue. I believe the last I counted, it was over 200 plants, but I have lost some and then purchased some new ones. So I don't know what my number is anymore. I would be a fibber if I told you that I actually wipe every plant down, spray them down on a weekly basis. I don't even inspect them on a weekly basis, and that's probably why I've had the mealybug problem, because even after finding them, I'm not inspecting my plants the way I should. It's a chore. It's a serious chore, and it takes a lot of work. I'm not disciplined that way, and the way my life is set up right now, I don't see that happening until I have a better situation, such as a backyard or a terrace or a deck or something where I can bring them outside, do what I need to do, and then bring them back inside if that's what I planned on doing. So plant pest and treatment can be a major plant parent problem. So some may not see this as a plant parent problem, but it all depends on where you are in your plant parenting. The more skilled you are at it, maybe this is less of an issue. But soil to me can be a plant parent problem, because you watch these videos, you read up, you do research, and there's like all these suggestions on the type of soil you should use for the type of plant that you have. Oh, this soil needs a lot more of a drainage soil, or soil that dries up faster. Use sand, put bark in it, add perlite, use vermiculite. I'm telling you, sometimes it becomes too much. I have fallen into the trap of buying all these different things to try and get the soil right for my plants, and then I realize that I'm doing the most, and I have to stop, fall back, and think about it, because I can get all of those things and do everything they said, and my plant goes bye-bye. It looks like crap, doesn't look anything like the person's plant that I saw, and I'm trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? It's not that I did anything wrong, it's just that my home may not have a plant acclimate to it correctly. That's not said right, but you get what I'm saying. Basically, where one lives and the type of lighting and environment that they have matters. Okay, if I live in an area that is dreary more than it's not, and stays cold more than not, and is dry, then I cannot assume that the person who lives in a warm state that's sunny more and the humidity levels are on some crazy high percentage, that the way their plant looks is how my plant's gonna look in my state. Like, it doesn't match. So we have to think about that when we purchase our plants, and think about all the things that we need to do, that a person plant looks so pretty and we're going, ooh, I want that plant, and then we realize that our plant doesn't look like theirs. No matter how much we follow all the instructions that we're given, it just doesn't happen for everyone the same. So soil can be very confusing, and at the end of the day, it's not just simply about the soil, it's all the other things that come along with it. The temperatures, the lighting, the humidity, all of those things matter. So just remember that when you are thinking about the kind of soil that is suggested for a plant. Do you have everything else that comes along with why that plant looks so great for that person and may not look as great for you? Another plant parent problem that any of us can be suckered into is the plant itself. Popular versus trending versus rare. All of those things affect a price. And the more popular a plant becomes, the higher the number becomes. The more rare the plant is, the harder it is to find, so therefore the number is higher. So budgeting. We need to budget ourselves properly. I know for me, I don't necessarily go over a certain number unless I want the plant that much, and I think that number may be $50 is the highest. And that to me is very pricey for a plant, especially when you don't know if that plant is going to survive or how long it's going to survive. If I spend a lot of money on a plant, you need to guarantee me that plant is going to last for as many months as I paid for it. So if it was $100, it has to last for nothing less than 100 months. And we all know that's not a given. There's no way somebody can guarantee that your plant is going to last for that amount of time unless it's a fake plant, which you don't have plant parenting problems because it's fake. So, but as long as it's a real plant, for me, I don't judge anybody who pays a lot of money for a plant, what I consider to be a lot of money for a plant. I'm not judging in any shape, form, or fashion. I'm just pointing out the fact that everyone doesn't have those same numbers in their pockets. Some people's pockets are not as deep as others, and therefore we all can't buy the same things. But I just feel like it's a plant. It's not a house. It's not a car. It's a plant. So I understand there's beauty. I've seen many plants that I said, I like that. But when I see the number for it, it's just not happening. It's just not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. Okay, guys, there's one more thing I'm going to touch on because this video is getting a little long, and there's more topics, but I want to talk about temperature. So for me, even though I talked about it a little bit earlier, temperature is key because I live in New York City, and my zone, I believe, is anywhere from a 7 to a 7A or a 7B. And humidity levels drop big time here in the fall and late fall, definitely through the winter. I believe I average about 35 to 40% humidity in my apartment. I do have a humidifier. Something else I do to help bring the humidity levels up in my home is getting a big pot and adding water up to the top of it and putting that on the fire on high so it gets to boiling and releases off the steam, which humidity, into the space. It's been a major help because though most of my plants are here in the living room, the next spot that has a lot of my plants are in the kitchen, and several of them need the humidity. So the humidifier itself is in the living room, but that pot, and I can keep that going throughout the day. I don't have to worry about, pretty much with a humidifier, you have to refill the pot, yes, but it takes longer to refill the pot than it does the humidifier that I own because of the size of the pot. So if you live in an area along the West Coast, like Arizona, California, Nevada, those areas are very dry. What do you normally see over there when you see plants? You see a lot of succulents. You see a lot of cacti, because those type of plants enjoy that heat, that dry heat. So depending on where you live will depend on the kind of temperatures you deal with. If you live in the deep south, you see more warm weather than you do cold. If you live further up north, like I do, but even further up north, you're going to see a lot of cold temperatures, snow. The weather usually is, you got long winters and short summers. So temperature matters for your plants. You have to find a way to bring that warmth back into your space. Some people, we put our heat on during the winter, and if you can control it, you can at least decide how warm it gets into your home. I can control only the levels of the heat, not how much heat, as in the percentage number. So I have to bring in the humidifier because it gets very dry in here. It gets horribly dry. Once I put that heat on, my humidity level drops below 25. It's like 20. It's bad. So that's why I knew I had to get that humidifier, and then do the boiling of the water. So think about your temperature. Think about the humidity in that space that you have, because all of those things can affect your plants depending on the kind of plant you have. So if you have a lot of tropical plants, you definitely want to think about the humidity in the space. If you have a lot of succulents, then you're good in the winter if it gets very dry and the humidity levels are low, because your plants appreciate those type of plants appreciate that. So depending again on the kind of plant you have will depend on the temperatures that you need to control in your space. So that's that. Okay, everyone, that is it. This video is pretty long, but I just wanted to share again the PPP, plant parenting problems or plant parent problems that we all may go through. I'm sure there are others. Again, the video is getting long, or it is long, and I didn't want to go over every single thing, but I wanted to touch on the main things that I go through for me in my space, in my home where I live. Other people may only deal with one of those things or all of it and then some. So share your thoughts. Let me know what kind of plant parenting problems that you go through. Comment below. I hope you like, comment. I said that already. I do that all the time. I hope you like, subscribe, click the bell to know when another video is posting. And there it is, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless everyone, and keep planting. Bye-bye.